manufacturing, and the creation of a custom machine. So welcome to Kill Bill, the whole-blooded pinball affair.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, my name is Dennis. Let's start with a little introduction. My name is Dennis. I'm from the Netherlands. And you probably know me for doing The Matrix and Demolition Man on Steroids. And this is our last project, Kill Bill, of course. And yeah, we're here to tell you what it took to get this baby here done. So, try to make it a little interactive if you want. You know, if there's any questions, please pop a question. You know, instead of me talking all the time, you know, it's good to hear some feedback from you guys once in a while. Nice. I'd like to do a little shout out to Team Holland. My partner Geert, he couldn't come, unfortunately. He was supposed to help me out just with the playfield. He's an airbrusher professionally, but I think I dragged him into it a little too much to his liking. And you'll see more about everything, you know, with the ramps that we did and the plastic set and all that kind of stuff, you know. It was totally going for it. You know, even had some trouble having his own work, how do you say it? Prevailed? Yeah, his professional work prevailed for this hobby project, but you know, I really like to thank him for that. Also Team Portland, the guys here, and Torge for getting this game here done in time. We did a lot of hours the last week, and well, we pulled it through. Thank you guys. Also the Golden State Pinball, of course, for having us, for believing in us, because a few months ago there was not really much to show for except some pictures. And well, thank you for your for your encouragement, you know, and setting all this stuff up. And last but certainly not least, my wife, of course, for letting me do this for about 9 years now. And yeah, Kill Bill has been a project of 4 years, and I'm very proud to present it to you guys. But without her, you know, it wouldn't be possible. So thank you, Chris. So where does my inspiration came from? When I started out doing pinball, my first machine was a Godly, the Super Mario Brothers. We have it here, and you know, the first week, you know, you grind the game out, of course, and I started already thinking, you know, hey, I miss something like a loop or something, and you know, already thinking, can you add something that to a game, and still have the software running and do all the right things. Just stayed in my mind for a while, and yeah, that was about it. Never did anything to it. Sold the game after a while. Then I came into the Bally Twilight Zone, and yeah, to be honest, you know, the game really blew me away because of the way they did it. You know, all the toys, and especially all the music, all the sounds, all the quotes, and the way they did that theme interact with the game, and how that sucked you in. At least that's how it was for me. Was a really inspiration of how a game should be, you know, to be an experience, not just the thing, you know, where you try to do a high score, but you know, where you relive the theme. Also, Bally Attacks from Mars, just because of the game flow, the fast loop, the fast ramps, and yeah, well, that was a lot of inspiration for me. Then Demolition Man. This was truly my first step. I liked the flow, but it lacked a little bit on some rules. And at that time, Gary Stelberg from Pinball Controllers, and now Multimorphic, came with that controller board, the P-ROC board, where you just switch your CPU to a P-ROC board, and it interacts with your computer, all your switches and stuff. Then you can control and read out with your computer and add some code to it. So a friend of mine at work who had a little experience in doing software, was willing to help me out with just a few basics, and yeah, just get me started with something. And I was like, okay, you know, it's a great game, and you know, I can add something to it, you know, do a quick multi-bond, stuff like that, see if I like it. And well, all of a sudden, you know, became more than I ever wanted to do. But I really loved it and put in a lot of hours, and I think this is the machine that taught me, at least, how to program a pinball machine. Because it's just not all about code, it's about the experience. You can make it as complex as how you want it, but it doesn't make it funnier. It takes shots that you really want to do again, or that are timed. In my opinion, that is to drag you into that game. So it became a fully packed game, 4 multi-balls instead of the 2 multi-balls that it had. The multi-balls are quite the same, first and second and the third and fourth. So made it all different objectives, all the modes, the cryo, claw, were all 4 axes became modes with mode jackpots, explode mode, car chase mode, also with their own jackpots. The Demolition Man jackpot remained. I really loved that feature on the visual Demolition Man. And of course the wizard mode, that is about 2 stages of wizard mode. I'd like to do a different soundtrack, so there was a soundtrack for the Demolition Man when you play the game. But as a player, before you start the game, you can really change to other background kind of music. So you can add your own music if you want to, so it becomes kind of like a jukebox. But with every mode, a different song starts, so it's not just music playing, but it interacts with the game as well. And we did a little party mode. If you had a multiplayer game, you could do party mode, and if you have an extra ball lick, I can steal it from you, stuff like that. I think they did it on Pirates of the Caribbean or so. Somebody did it. Okay, still new feature then. Of course, then the Matrix. A friend of mine always had the idea of doing a Johnny Mnemonic through Matrix, because he really loves the Johnny Mnemonic, but yeah, he liked the Matrix movie better. So he had all the stuff, all the things, all the ideas, but he had nobody to program. And I was like, okay, sometime I want to do my own machine, make a re-theme, but I had no idea, where to start with sending down the playfield or adding toys and stuff like that. So it became a duo project where he did all that kind of stuff, and I did the programming for it. Yeah, but maybe nice to say, then I go over to Kill Bill, guys. When we had the game, we had the dot matrix, where it just showed you scores, but it's all the falling numbers and stuff like that. That's the only thing we really did with the dot matrix at that point. And when the game became what it became eventually, we also tried to do the more of the animations on the dot matrix, and I think that took that game, to another level at that point. So now for Kill Bill. It was all started by a mouse. My idea was with World Cup Soccer, a friend of mine had that game, and from that moment on, I think it was already 2012, I really was like, I like that game, but there's something missing to it. There's so much more opportunities to that game layout than they used in World Cup Soccer. That I always was like, okay, dude, if you're gonna sell the game, sell it to me. I stack it in my garage and I'll see, maybe one day I will start this. And the first thing to do was, the idea was to make it a Disney kind of themed game. About the Walt Disney World in Orlando, 4 parks, 4 multi-balls with different objectives and all that kind of stuff. But, Disney kind of theme, I think it's quite hard, especially if you want to do something like the Walt Disney World Park, because you have no sounds, you have no speech or anything. It's not like a movie, where you have stuff already there to work with. So that's why I kind of skipped that idea. So yeah, well, what are you going to do now? Because I already had a video for it, and I programmed the multi-balls and stuff like that. I was like, okay, you know, if I'm gonna flip this, where I'm going to flip it into? Well, then Quentin Tarantino came. He didn't call me, but I was like, okay, now maybe I can just start off. So what's all the movies? So everybody's like, Quentin Tarantino was the greatest movie of Quentin Tarantino. Probably not Kill Bill. Everybody says Pulp Fiction. I was like, okay, you know, that's too obvious. And if you know Pulp Fiction, what's the wizard mode going to be like? Because you've got 4 great stories in Pulp Fiction, but there's not really a climax. So I was like, okay, I want to do something else. And then, yeah, Kill Bill came along. You know, a woman in the lead instead of a man truly does it well in these days with all that, how you call it? Weinstein, all the Weinstein stuff. The problem is, though, you know, with Kill Bill, it was Miramax from Mr. Weinstein. So yeah. There's also still a link, though, with Disney, because the first movie they did on Miramax, under the flag of Disney, because then it was owned by Disney, was Kill Bill. So there's still a link between this and Kill Bill. Yeah, so Kill Bill it became. So I programmed almost 3 years on the game before even doing anything about the artwork. It was all done on a World Cup Soccer. I'm going to show you some pictures just a little later on, so you can see, you know, how that looked like. But first thing with Geert, you know, my partner who did all the artwork, when he came by, he was like, dude, you know, you have this game and it plays fantastic already, but how can you see? I don't see what you see. I still see World Cup Soccer. You can tell me, you know, that this multiple here and this loop is overran and stuff like that. And I'm an artist, but yeah, that you can look at a playfield like that for almost 3 years and see Kill Bill in it. And you know, that was an eye-opener for me. Because yeah, you know, after 3 years, you know, you're so much into that theme, you know, you're so much into that game, that for me it already was a Kill Bill. Once again. Yeah, one of his things he directly saw was, Martin, can you for 1 second turn to the playfield? Yeah, wait to be ready. This is not the Holland machine, but it's the ordered machine of John right now. Is all the plastic that we lost. I know you guys, everybody knows how World Cup Soccer looks like, I guess, you know, here in Pinball, Laudai, of course, everybody knows. There's a lot of plastic, all the ramps are plastic. And yeah, we got this all metal down, the right ramp, the up kicker, we added the 3rd ramp, and also we lost a lot of plastics on the side here. So we trimmed down a lot of plastic, so you got way more visual on the playfield and way more visual on the ball than originally. So after he started working on the playfield and got to all the artwork, and he really liked Buck, it was like, then, can we just work with an LCD screen? Because at that time, 3-4 years ago, it wasn't that common to use an LCD screen in a video game. And it was like, can we do something about it? Because I really want to see Buck, you know, with blue shirt on, you know, saying all the crazy stuff that I'm not going to repeat here. So that's what I did. I chipped in a little more and started doing all the animations that I did on the dot matrix. I think it was about 250 animations on the dot matrix, and I converted that again, you know, to the LCD screen. So what you see on the LCD screen, I think we posted a little short clip yesterday on the Facebook page, and somebody was asking, hey, is it just playing the movie or is it interacting? Well, it is interacting. About 240 video clips are came into this machine, and you're going to see a little later about it. So there was quite a few more hours. I think I've been editing video for a month or 3 or 4, redoing them all, and they're all in HD quality. So And what we also did when he was asking me, can you do this, can you do that, can you do that, and you start with the LCD screen, I was like, okay, I can do that. Well, what I want for you in return is to get that extra ramp right there. When you have World Cup Soccer, you can shoot the left ramp, and there's a diverter on the top, so you can feed either flipper with that. The right ramp only brought the ball back to your left flipper, and now with that extra ramp, we can feed also that ball back to your right flipper. So both ramps can feed both flippers. So for combo shots and stuff like that, it's really neat. From soccer to massacre. The playfield adjustments that we did. You can see them up top. I'm just gonna walk through them a little bit. Removal of the two saucers. I have a picture of the. One second. Martin, sorry guys, do you have any idea that I see my my picture here on the screen, but here we only see the PowerPoint. I have a lot of pictures. Just get out of content. It's not the best picture. But here you have the saucer, and here you have the saucer, and we have the saucer right there. And when I first started with the multi-ball, I wanted to do something, with at first get your balls over there, and over there, and over there, stack them, get your ball back, and then go for super jackpot. Except these things are really hard to hit, on a game. It's more like sometimes your ball accidentally comes there, and it's not really a shot. So we really removed those things. That was one of the first things that we did. Exit button. Turning one saucer into a scoop. As I told you just about the saucers, and here we have the scoop now, a fully working scoop, so you really can aim for that shot and collect whatever there's left. We have a diverting left loop to the flip feeding shot. The normal World Cup Soccer had that orbit shot. I call it a loop shot, but it's an orbit shot. And it deflects to the left flick shot. And I really like a full orbit shot. So we bended that shot a little bit so the ball now goes right past the right slingshot, and you can really knock the ball again down that loop. You have the double loop combo over there, so it's really something to go for. Also, on World Cup Soccer, there's no auto launch mechanism. So during a multi-ball, when you lose your ball, it's completely done. And also with ball saves and stuff like that, it's quite impossible to do that without an auto launch mechanism. So we added that one also in the game. We have 4 rollovers in World Cup Soccer. Red thing is right there. And it was like, we can also do with 3. So we added a magnet instead of that rollover. We replaced that rollover for a magnet. The magnet had to be made by hand. So we had a company making that magnet especially for the size of that, to fit that size. We added a captive ball, not very could see right now, but here is the captive ball. We have 3 cup bumpers in World Cup Soccer. We skipped 2. There is one right, only one left at the bottom. Then we have the captive ball, so you can tilt a little bit with the pop bump, you know, to get it to the captive ball. And to make sure you make that shot, there is a 3rd flipper instead of that pop bumper. It's just right underneath that plastic. In World Cup Soccer, you have that big ball in the middle of the playfield that was turning around, and it took a lot of space. And I really thought, you know, the game was lacking 1 shot, so I wanted to add 1 shot to the playfield. I was like, okay, you know, in the first beginning it was like, can we make that ball into that go-go ball, you know, the big wrecking ball? I was like, no, it's better to go for gameplay than for visuals on that. So we removed the ball that was in this area, added this center loop shot, drop target, spinner, and there's a lock mechanism I'll tell you about just after some more. The mini playfield ball flow, we'll see about that, but you know, we get a big plastic here, you know, when the ball came around, it just made the outer loop and fell here back into the playfield. We now diverted that. There's a wire form just here on the mini playfield, and it gets the ball back to the left side. So no ball rocks on the left side, that's on the right side now, and it really gets the ball flowing over the middle. We have we diverted the up kicker to the left hand. Normally you have the up kicker here on World Cup Soccer and brings the ball all the way back here to the right in lane. Now it diverts on the right hand, all the way down there. Why do we do that? Because of that third rim that we attach right over there, and that's the one that goes all the way down here, and that's the one that's now feeding your right in. To divert it, we added a magnet over there, so there's not a diverter, but it's a magnet. We added 4 extra playfield inserts for game objectives. You can see one right there, it's a little clock to add some time, also right there to add some time. For the Sophie Combo Fatale, we have a small insert above underneath this standing target. And you cannot see it here, it's right behind the drop target, that's a touch of death insert, and it's driven by a flasher, and that's for the visible. Added the shaker motor, and to drive it all we added the 8 driving board. You know, the 8 driving board from the Star Trek Next Generation, all the wide body pins. It gives you 8 more things to drive for 4 flashers and 4 coils. So we added that one to the World Cup Soccer and not adding more P-ROC boards. So we try to do it as much Bally Williams as possible. And of course the 27-inch LCD monitor. But we kept the dot matrix. I really like the dot matrix. You know, it looks good. Looks, you know, with the red, and it gives you a little bit that arcade feeling still. So all the text now is on the dot matrix, and the video clips are shown on the LCD screen. Also, Quentin Tarantino, I know he really likes the older kind of games. You know, especially EM kind of type of games. So you know, if you might you ever see it, you know, we might convince them, you know, it's not that new of a game. You know, try to mingle the older stuff with the newer stuff. So, any questions so far? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm wondering, with so many changes that were made to the playfield, was there ever a point where you considered just, or why didn't you just start fresh, start with a brand new designed playfield? Why was it just your love of World Cup Soccer?
Yeah, and I was busy for 4 years already. So So after 4 years. But yeah,
You
Yeah, I
started
think
out
just that.
moving a special magnet for the size hole, when you could have just CNC'd a different size hole.
that's true. Yeah, I think we were already 3 years in the making. And you know, also I think when you really start over, I think it's really hard to keep a ball flowing. If you also on the center loop, well, you can see it right now. But we drilled that extra holes, you know, with those up posts. And if you drill it just slightly to the left, to the right, the ball can do completely different things. So I think it's very hard, you know, to do a play field just from the bottom down. And so that's why and also your ramps, everything you do, you know, you have to redo. You can't just say, okay, let's do just a new play field. All your ramps, all your mechanisms, everything has to be redone. So that's why we stick to the World Cup Soccer. What time is it? So for the gameplay, I just want to talk just a little bit about the gameplay, you know, and then we switch over to the screen and I can show you some modes. The basics. The game difficulty is adjustable for every player. So when you start a game and you play to someone less good, you can make it harder for yourself. You don't have to change some menu settings. There are 3 difficulties, just normal, hard, and the hardest. So you get, for the modes, you have the play, how do you call it? When you want to get to the wizard mode, you need to play all 4 modes at least. So that's in the less hard mode. But when you're in the hardest mode, you have to complete all the 4 modes. So there's no help me down.
There's no limits.
Yeah, exactly, you know. Also on the Crazy 88, you can go for Super Jackpot, and that gives you the most points. But when you are in the hardest mode, you have to make the 88 switches. And just 88 switches, that doesn't count for a lot of points. So if somebody's playing in normal mode, they get a Super Jackpot on the multi-ball, they might even win from you, you know, even though when you're a way more better player. Because if she goes for the Super Jackpots, you also qualify for the wizard mode. And you have to may have to do it again to get those 88 switches doing multi-ball, and you have not much time. You want to go for the spinners to get there as fast as possible, but that leaves you less time to get to the jackpots and for the points. And so when you have the 4 modes and you have the Crazy 88, it results in starting Bill. And Bill is the first part of the wizard mode. When you complete that first part, you get 1 final shot, touch of death, and that results in the second part of the wizard mode. And the game is also kind of risk versus reward. We have 4 scenes. The 4 scenes are right there. And you don't need them to get to the wizard mode. But you can get a lot of points in playing them. So also risk versus reward. If you really want a good score, and even score big on the wizard mode, it's way better to get at least 1, 2, or as much as possible of these scenes, because they really boost your jackpots on the wizard mode. Also, one of the scenes, here's the extra ball, this is the pussy wagon, and we have got 1 scene, the suitcase, that really boosts the score. So if you're doing good and not so good on a game, and somebody else is, you can go for that scene. It doesn't get you to the wizard mode, but start suitcase and really crank up that score. And you can quite easily get a 1.7 million. That's probably more than you would do, if you just play the 4 modes just normally, without very good scoring. And then we have the Loop Awards. two sections, the lower four and the upper four. And the lower four, they build up to Nikia's room. And Nikia's room is also one way you can earn the extra ball. And the first three are connected to making a skill shot. So normally during a game, everybody goes for the skill shot, or sometimes you like to take the skill shot, whatever. I don't care. But if you don't do skill shots in Kill Bill, you're not going to get to an Nikia mode and and get an extra ball thing there. And the upper four are making game objectives to add to a multiplier. Here we have the multipliers. It's not like an end of ball multiplier. It's like a game multiplier. Let's say Whitewater. We have the 5 times barn. Just think of a multiplier like that. When you have, let's say, knocked up. Knocked up you get when you're making that double loop combo. So make that left loop shot and get it back on your flipper and bam, do it again. Then you get that knocked up thingy. When you collect that, you get the multiplier ready here on the left scoop. So that's why the left scoop thing was so important. For every one of these inserts, you get a double, triple, 4, or 5 times the playfield for that whole ball. So when you only collect one, you get a double. Shoot the scoop and you can go for double scoring during the entire ball. If you collect 2 of the inserts, you can go to 3. Collect all 4, you can go to a 5 time multiplier during that whole ball. So get your mode ready, get your Crazy 88 multi-ball ready, and try to crank up that multiplier as high as possible, and you will score very big. It also applies on the wizard mode. I think we go to the game now.
Skipping the width, like you can carry your multiplier to the next ball.
Oh yeah. Let's say you got 4 times multiplier ready on that scoop. You hit that scoop, you can choose if you want to pass, if you want to go for double, triple, or 4 times the playfield award. If you just go for 3 times the award, you get 3 times during that ball. With your next ball, you still have 1 multiplier left. So your next ball, shoot the scoop again, don't pass on the award, and you get a double scoring during that ball. So also again, risk versus reward. If you go for the 4 time and you lose the ball very quickly, you got nothing. If you do quite well with 4 times, with 3 times, you have another 2 times for the other ball. So it's about strategy. Morning, can you switch to the... Can you help out, John, with your... Yeah, a little more volume and a little softer for the get it lower. All right.
I'll be it myself.
So John made the skill shot. That's very good of him.
Hands free.
Hands free. To start a chapter, you go for the drop target and the center loop. I think that's great. ball locks ready. So let's go for a mode. We go for the start chapter. We got O-Ram mode ready. You see it flashing right there. And if you want to, you can move the modes around. Click the button. So the objective of the game is, it says here on a DVD, hit 3 times the captive ball. So that we're going to do. You have to make a left ramp shot.
Your instrument is quite impressive. Supporting hunters. We're so scared.
So music change, and now you're going to the final steps of this mode. You have to hit the suitcase, but you cannot hit VFX, stamp card. So it's really shallow. Take your time, do your timing, make sure you don't hit VFX. If you hit VFX 3 times, you're out. If you hit the suitcase, you're ready. You can complete mode. You're really fighting over that, in that garden scene. So when you make a good shot, you hit O-Ram. Make a bad shot, you will be here. You go for the good shot.
At 25, she did her part in the killing of 9 innocent people. But on that day, she made one big mistake. She should have killed 10.
So that's O-Ram. I kind of like bug mode. So we do it on the mode and then try to go to multi-ball. The second mode, you hit the drop target again. The center loop is free now. But if you wait too long, the drop target will come up again. So for every mode, it's like harder to start it. Again, when you're in the hardest mode, when you choose for that time is even shorter. So it's really a shot you have to go for. Drop target up again.
Bill,
Wrong brother, the hateful bitch.
but
Bingo.
and to what do I owe this to be as a pleasure?
I just called me the cowgirl. Ain't nothing wrong. That woman deserves her revenge.
So now you have to take action with both. There are 4 shots, and you have to make the shot within time. First shot is the first jackpot. second jackpot. If you don't make it in time, you will fall back a level. So you go up a level, and if you don't make the shot in time, you fall down every time on level again. So if you want to get, there are 3 super jackpots. If you want to make the 3 super jackpots, you have to make all the shots in time, get the super jackpot, and repeat it 3 times. Also, the scene is completely, like a movie, where you get buried and stuff, but I'm going to show it. So first shot will be a trick. So the next shots you see here are the combo shots. So make the shot in time. For the third shot you got the ramp shot. And for the last shot is captain ball shot. And the last shot is the crazy shot. So change the music. There's super jackpot now collected, so you got two more levels to go. So for the super jackpot. You see, you don't see, but the timer is now running out. I have the first jackpot. I got a combo shot, but I don't make it in time. So now I'm back at the first shot again. I have to redo the first shot again. So that's a double jackpot. So you get buried now under the ground. Knuckle is helping, with the team. Nailing that coffin. So you're buried on the ground now and you have to get up. So once again. Because you have a right orbit, you can also go for the right shot. And now for the final shot. We're going to do one of the scenes before they do the crazy alien book. It's the Lucy Wagon scene, and it's the one that brings it to the action ball. And if you know the movie, as she's in a coma for about 3 or 4 years, and she just came out of the coma and she has no function over the legs. Right? So she drags herself into the Lucy Wagon and she's trying to focus on getting the function back on the leg. So try to focus, wiggle your big toe, wiggle your big toe. So that's this part now of this scene. So I'm going to we got scene ready now. And it's suitcase. Now we got pussy wagon. First shot, 12 seconds to make that left hand shot. So now we're going to wiggle the big toe. We have to bash the right flip button. So we're bashing, you know, no retrieval of the leg. Watch the flipper. Oh, John, here we go. Here comes the flipper, here comes the flipper, here comes the flipper.
It's over. Let's get these other pieces.
Now you press the ball. And because you have to wiggle your big toe, you know, the flippers are reversed. So when you press the button, it goes down, and when you release it, it goes up again. Also here, risk versus reward. Go for the jackpot shot and collect some points, or go for the scoop for the extra ball. For the extra insert, we got extra time. So we added just about 10 seconds. For the jackpot shot, we have Team Frenzy. All clips from Tarantino where he uses female feet. He has a feet fetish. But I want to go for the extra ball.
Pussy wagon.
So that's what that's it. So now for a crazy 88, we needed a full 88 crew to start here. So we need to do some switches.
They just called themselves the Crazy 88. I guess they thought it sounded cool.
Lock ready.
That was wicked.
So we've got Crazy 88 ready right here. And also in Crazy 88 it's risk versus reward. The jackpot is at the suitcase and the super jackpot is the link right next to it. To light jackpot you have to shoot the 88 inserts. If you make one insert you got one time jackpot. So go for the suitcase and you got one time jackpot value. Well, if you get two of those inserts, you get double. 3, triple, 4 times. When you shoot the jackpot goes out, you get super jackpot, and the more inserts you score, the higher the super jackpot. So also there again, if you scored 4 times jackpot, you get 4 times super jackpot. Collected with the multiplier, you get 8 times when you got double. When you got 5 times, you got 14. You got 20. It's a 3-ball multiple. So you see no jackpot ready yet. And for every jackpot there is a different clip. So double jackpot is a different clip than the third, fourth, and single. So go for value now, and we got lock here list, so I can even double now. Now we got the double score on the triple jackpot score we already have. It's a bit like Indiana Jones. You got a certain time to make that super jackpot now. If you don't, the ball will be released again and you will be back to normal. Now we got only 3 of the inches lit, so you have to make one to get the other one. So the more super jackpots, the less inches you have right away. The 4 times the jackpot. I want to double the super jackpot.
Your price is double.
I'm going to triple it.
Your price is triple.
Took about 15 seconds to make the super jackpot triple score.
Time for 1 or 2 questions?
Yeah, turn off the machine. Maybe up. Alright, I hope it made a little sense to you all, you know. Any questions? Justin?
Yeah, what was the most unexpected hiccup when What was the most unexpected hiccup when you were building it? What was way more difficult than you thought was going to be?
I guess this lock ramp.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the lock ramp. First of all, you start experimenting, you know, with the welding, you know, just make it a wire instead of a plastic. So you have to cut your ramp, weld your ramp for the metal, and with the lock ramp, you know, it had to fit in there, and you also had to divert your shot, so you know it falls down into that lock ramp. On World Cup Soccer, the lower ramp is quite low already, so it doesn't have an angle for your ball to come down. So you have to raise that ramp, but there is a second ramp above, so you also need to raise that ramp. And like I said, for the question that I had, you know, why don't you do a whole playfield? When you raise those ramps just a little, you know, it flows differently. So you get a little different ball flow, and sometimes, you know, you get air balls and stuff like that, or ball hang-ups where you don't expect it. So everything you do, you know, quite impacts on your ball flow. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
You can sit. Oh, I get to talk in the microphone.
Good.
Last question.
What's the end goal? Is it homebrew, hobby, because you guys are hobbyists?
Yeah.
Is it production,
Oh.
homebrew only?
Yeah, it's homebrew.
How many? 3, 5, 1, 2?
Yeah, something like that.
What about? I know.
No, it's a big project,
Oh, yeah, it's
and,
cool.
Yeah,
What about homebrew? You don't have to worry about copyrights, stuff like that.
no, you can do whatever you want.
That's what.
That what makes it nice. You can use the clips the way you want it. Almost every clip is edited. I haven't shown you the L mode yet, but you get asked a question. I've kind of forgot about the question.
What made Pi May snatch out?
Yeah, what made Pi May snatch out your heart?
Right.
That's the question. And you have to answer with the skill shot. You make the skill shot. So you get 3 options. You smoke some pot or something. You bushwhack ugly piece of shit. And you miss ball or full. And you have to make that skill shot. So to get that, the movie itself, are all kind of different scenes. So you have to edit it all and put it in place.
So what about if some pinball company comes to you guys and says, "Oh, we like that. We want to make that game." Possibility or negative?
Yeah, of course, a possibility. I don't want to be, Andrew Highway or whatever. I don't want to.
Nobody wants to be that.
No.
Thank you.
Right. All right, guys. Time's up. So thank you.